now we are in question number 47. Question number 44. Okay, so in question number 44, whatever the method that we used before, okay, will not be applicable here. Okay, whatever the working note, okay, this working note. Have a look at question number 43. So working note, this way, okay, if you follow this particular method, you will not get the answer. Okay, that is not the way to make the adjustment. As I already said, that this method, what I am teaching you, okay, what method I have used here, okay, whatever the method that I'm using is universal. It is like, you know, it is error free. Okay, there is no error here. Okay, so in any kind of situation you will get this done. Okay, so but if you follow this method in this question also, in question number 44 also, there will be problem. Okay, so I will discuss about the problem afterwards. Let us have a look at this particular question. Okay, so here we have pro rata adjustment. Okay, so company, they issued 20,000 number of shares. Okay, but they received application for 25,000 number of shares. Okay, so for 1,000 number of shares, uh, they rejected the application. Okay, and for 4,000 they made the full adjustment here, I mean allotment. Okay, they are making the full allotment. Okay, but now you can see here, when 20,000 number of shares were allotted, applied, when 20,000 number of shares were applied, they allotted only 16,000 number of shares. Okay, so this is your condition of pro rata allotment. Okay, so this is the area of pro rata allotment. Okay, so when you apply the formula, you will apply the formula on this particular section only. If you apply a formula in any of these kind of things, it will be problem. Okay, so please remember that. Okay, and okay, let us continue. So first entry, when you receive the application money on applied number of shares, the entry will be bank account debit to share application. Okay, so 25,000 number of shares here, they were applied, and rupees 2.50 is the application money. Have a look at the question. Okay, please read the question before you start the video. Okay, and I request you to copy the solution first. Okay, first copy the solution and then look at the question. Okay, read question for 2 times at least. Okay, then you will have the exact knowledge about the particular situation. Okay, then start the video. Okay, uh, having a book and copies open in front of you. Okay, now, so this is your first entry when 25,000 number of shares were actually applied. Okay, you received application money on these number of shares at the rate rupees 2.5 per share. Okay, now for 1,000 number of shares, you will reject the money. Okay, you will refund the money. Okay, so 1,000 into 2.50. So you can see here 1,000 shares, they were actually rejected. Okay, there was no allotment made. Okay, so equity share capital account, you can see here 20,000 into 2.50. Why? Because this is your actual number of shares that is applied. Okay, so let me use this one. Okay, so this is your case. Okay, so 4 plus 16, 20,000. So 20,000 shares were actually to be allotted. Okay, so 20,000 shares into 2.50. Okay, you will get 50,000. Okay, now you can see here in this particular section, 20,000 number of shares were applied, but only 16,000 shares were allotted. Okay, so how much extra number of shares you are having here? 4,000 shares are extra out here. Okay, so 4,000 into 2.50. Okay, so 4,000 into 2.50 will be 10,000, and this 10,000 is the money that is to be adjusted with allotment. Okay, so that's why we are writing here to share allotment account, because this 10,000 is to be adjusted with allotment money. okay, when the company will make the call. Okay, so let us pass the second entry. Okay, let us make the entry for this one. Okay, so this is it. Okay, okay, so have a look out here. Okay, so this is your entry. Okay, for the second entry. Now for the third entry, that is when you call for the allotment money, okay, including premium. Okay, so see, this is a very critical question. This question is very much important question, because in this question, allotment money involves your SPR also. Okay, so if you understand this particular question, question number 44, remaining questions 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, all these types of questions will be understood easily. Okay, and this question is very much important, so please have a look at this properly. Okay, so when you make the third entry, okay, for this allotment, so allotment money is actually your rupees 5 per share. Okay, this rupees 5 is for the allotment money, which involves rupees 2.50 for SPR. Okay, and remaining is to be transferred to equity share capital account. Okay, so 20,000 into 5 will be your 1 lakh. So 20,000 into 2.50 for equity share capital, and SPR for 20,000 into 2.50 is 50,000. So this is your third entry. Okay, but we have calls in arrear. Now this section is very much important section. This is a very critical situation. Okay, this condition is very much important condition, because here we are having the calls in arrear on 100 number of shares. Okay, so this is very much important. Okay, so now let us go to working note. Okay, but before we go to working note, let me tell you that rupees 10,000 is already adjusted. Okay, so 1 lakh, okay, 1 lakh minus 10,000 will be how much? 90,000. So when you receive the money, okay, when you write bank account debit to share allotment, it will be 90,000. Okay, so yeah, you may have calls in arrear or calls in advance, that's a different thing. Okay, but when you receive the allotment money, okay, after having this adjustment, the allotment money is to be subtracted, okay, from this excess amount of money that you have already received on time of application. Okay, so 1 lakh minus 10,000 will be 90,000. Okay, now let us go to this calls in arrear. Okay, I will show you how this method, okay, how the other approach, the other method of working note is wrong. Okay, I mean, it's not wrong, but it will give you a different answer. Okay, it will not give you the exact answer. Okay, but whatever the working note that I am following you out here, okay, that I have, that I have used here, is a very nice method. Okay, so this method is actually used by many authors. Okay, including your T.S. Grewal, okay, Shukla, Agarwal, D.K. Goel, Professor Hanifan Mukherjee, okay, including this Basu. Okay, so again, yeah, this S. Kumar Paul. Okay, so many authors, they use this kind of method only. Okay, so I prefer this method. I like this method very much. Okay, because that method which I talked about is a bit problematic. Is a bit problematic. Okay, so you may not get the exact answer. Okay, why and how, I will tell you. Okay, first let us talk about that wrong method. I mean, that problem area. Okay, so what is the application money extra that you have received? Excess application money that you have received? 10,000. You can see here. Okay, so number of shares that is actually allotted 20,000, right? So 10,000 is the excess application money, and 20,000 is the number of shares that is actually allotted. Okay, now let me show you here. So 10,000 divided by 20,000. Okay, how much is the answer? 0.5. Okay, so per share there should be the adjustment of 0.5 rupees. Okay, now what is the allotment money? Allotment money is 5. Okay, so 5 minus 0.5 will be how much? 4.5 rupees. So 100 number of shares are allotted here. Okay, so it should be how much? 450 rupees. So as per that method, you will get here 450 rupees. But that 450 rupees is not the exact amount. That is a wrong amount. It should be 437.50. Okay, so that's why I request you, okay, use this method only. Okay, this working note. Okay, so now the amount receivable on time of allotment is 20,000 into 5, 1 lakh. Okay, because 20,000 number of shares were allotted, so 20,000 on 20,000 number of shares only this allotment money will be due. Okay, so 20,000 into 5, how much? 1 lakh. Now excess application money received was 10,000. So 1 lakh minus 10,000 is how much? 90,000. So you have written this 90,000 before also. Okay, 90,000. Okay, so this is your 90,000. Now go back to that shareholder. Okay, so if you see here uh, in this question that it is mentioned that he failed to pay allotment and call money on 100 number of shares. So it is mentioned, okay, he had been allotted 100 number of shares, but we don't know how many number of shares were actually applied. Okay, so that shareholder, he actually belongs from this pro rata category. Okay, so 20,000 shares were applied and 16,000 number of shares were allotted. So X number of shares were applied and 100 number of shares were actually allotted. So how to find number of shares applied? That X number of shares. Use that formula now. Number of shares applied equals to total number of shares applied by total number of shares allotted into number of shares allotted. Okay, so please write this formula. Okay, so both the formula of number of shares applied and number of shares allotted, if you write in the copy and if you try to compare the formula, then it will be very much easy for you to understand that what are some changes here. Okay, so he had applied for 125 shares. Okay, so 100 number of shares were actually allotted. So on these number of shares, allotted number of shares, your allotment money will be due. So 500, okay, 100 into 5, because allotment money is 5 rupees per share. Okay, so 100 into 5, 500. Okay, now excess application money is already received on 25 number of shares. Okay, so out of 125, 100 number of shares were allotted. So extra number of shares was how much? 25. So 25 into 2.50. This 2.50 is the application money. Okay, application money. Okay, 25 into 2.50 application money. Sometimes you guys make the mistake here by writing allotment money only. Okay, don't make this allotment money. So presence of mind should be out there. Okay, so allotment money is rupees 5 per share, whereas application money was 2.50 per share. Okay, so excess application money received from that shareholder from 25 number of shares is 25 into 2.50 is 62.50. So 500 minus 62.50 will be 437.50. So this is your actual calls in arrear, and 89562.50 is the amount of money that you will receive on time of allotment. Okay, so when you pass the entry, okay, it is very easy to pass the entry, but to write the amount you have to go through this working note, then only you will be able to write it up out here. Okay, so now let us move on to this first and final call money. Okay, the fifth entry. Now share first and final call money will be due on 20,000 number of shares at the rate rupees 5 per share. Okay, so it will be 1 lakh. Okay, so here 100 number of shares were actually allotted, so 100 into 5 will be 500. This is very simple. Okay, this kind of questions we are already doing. Okay, this kind of cases. Okay, so this is very simple. Okay, now those number of shares will be now forfeited. Okay, now remember, when allotment money was due, okay, when allotment money was due, here look at this third entry and fourth entry. So on third entry you can see here that with allotment money your SPR money was also involved out here. Okay, it was also included, but 100 number of shares they failed to pay allotment money, which means they failed to pay the SPR money also. Okay, so that's why SPR money will be in the debit side when you forfeit the number of shares. Okay, so 100 into 2.50. Okay, it will be 250. 100 into 10, that is the full face value of the share, that is 1000. Okay, now calls in arrear is very simple. So calls in arrear will be just the addition of these two. 437.50 plus 500, it will be 937.50. Okay, so 1250. Okay, this is the total. 1000 plus 250 will be 1250, minus 937.50 will be 312.50. Okay, this is the amount of share forfeiture. Okay, and again let me tell you that this 100 number of sorry, this 312.50, it actually involves the application money that has been already received on 100 number of shares. Okay, into 2.50. Okay, plus that extra amount of money that you had already received, 312.50. Okay, this 62.50, how is this 62 this how this 62.50 is coming? This 62.50 is coming from here. You can see here, this is the application money extra that is received. Okay, so this is how you can get 312.50. Okay, now we reissue the number of shares. Okay, at rupees 9. So this number of shares are actually reissued below the uh, full face value of the share, that is at 9. Okay, so hence your share forfeiture account will come in the debit side. Okay, so bank account debit, share forfeiture account debit to equity share capital account. Okay, so this is your 100 share forfeiture which is appearing here, and this 312.50 minus 100 will be how much? 212.50. Okay, so this 212.50 is your profit on reissue of forfeited number of shares. So this is your entry for profit that has been transferred to capital reserve. Okay, so this is your question number 44. Okay, please rewatch the video if you have not understood, and WhatsApp group is open for you all. Please ask the question. Okay, and try to join the online classes also if possible whenever I call for it. Okay,